What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse ranch, no hate. So, Stefan, Big Shot Shaw versus Effe Ajagba. This was a fight that it wasn't really action packed, like guys getting hurt, getting buzzed, reeling around the ring, surviving, a war. No, fans were kind of booing here and there in the fight. Basically, it was a boxing match. Okay, it wasn't chess, it was checkers. I'm not saying it was so much of a bad fight. I found myself looking at both guys and what they could do and should be doing, or trying to do at least, what they're capable of doing. And that's what you always got to understand, is what they're capable. It doesn't matter what you and I want to see, it's what they're capable of doing. But I'm watching the fight. Now, what I saw is this. Both guys were trying to not let the other guy really get the advantage. It was a seesaw, back and forth type fight. A lot of people think Shaw got robbed. Then I've heard some people say they thought Effe won. Me personally, watching this fight, they both were missing a lot of shots. Effe was, and the thing with Effe, when he would miss too, it was like he would get hit. You see his head snap back, and he throw a shot that just doesn't land. Shaw was getting, they were going back and forth. Shaw was missing that sweeping left hook a lot, but he was landing that shit too. He was landing a lot of body shots. In all honesty, even if they thought Effe won, unanimous decision is like, me watching that fight. For anybody to say, though, this is what I don't agree with. How you gonna win a fight with a jab? What you mean, how you gonna win a fight with a jab? Did you ever see Larry Holmes fight? Did you ever see Ali fight? Did you see Michael Moore Holyfield first fight? Okay, that's incorrect to say you can't win a fight with a jab. And I've never met a trainer that didn't try to teach his fighter to jab. Okay, that I mean, they try to get everything worked off the jab pretty much. Certain fighters like Joe Frazier, no, he wasn't a jabber. Okay, but at the end of the day, this is how I saw the fight. I thought Shaw, they had the CompuBox numbers. I saw them. They had Effe ahead in the fight when they put it up, and I'm like, even commentary, was like, they was talking about how comfortable Shaw looked in there and that he was doing everything right. So they even thought that he was winning the fight. Now, I don't think he dominated the fight, but I felt like he built up enough shots. He was landing the more telling shots through the majority of the fight. And then Effe would get a hard one in there here and there. And then some of the later rounds, Effe was kind of landing in like the hardest shots when Shaw was still landing the jab. And I feel like judges respond more to power shots than they do a jab. I've seen people get dropped with jabs. I've dropped people with jabs. So, I don't agree with that. That if if you land more power shots that you automatically win. No, I don't believe that. I think that really, I don't really, I'm not harping on the decision. I don't think, even if they thought Effe won, I don't think that's no unanimous decision. But at the end of the day, and I think the commentary was pissing people off too. Because, like, when you go from saying, how Tim Bradley and Andre Ward do, but when you go from saying, this guy's doing everything right, he's very relaxed, very poised, and that means something in there to, and I was falling asleep. This is a boring fight. Wait a minute. Yeah, you said that. That type of thing. I overlook commentary even when it's good commentary, I mean, I'm hearing them, but I mean, like, I don't let, like, I see what I'm seeing. And if that's the case, Stephen Shaw is going to lose more fights then, unless he starts to turn his power game up. I just don't think it's fair when a fighter has a particular style, and because you don't like their style, you decide, they're boring or that. No, Chris Bird. If that's the look at Chris Bird's style. Chris Bird wasn't a big puncher. Chris Bird worked off his jab, used his defense a lot, and he countered. And Chris Bird thing was to let you punch, 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 and then when you get winded, that's when he's going to start opening up on you. Now, looking at this particular fight, Stephen Shaw was catching a lot of shots on his arms. He's parrying a lot of shots. And basically, this is why I say volume, okay, with hand speed. Because when you throw 3-4 punch combinations, and he was trying to get his he was throwing combinations, don't get me wrong, but when you throw them and you mix your shots up and like not be predictable, again, those shots that have your head snapping back. I've seen him snap Effe's head back several times. Effe snapped his head back. But I did feel like Shaw did enough to win. But watching that fight, I would say Shaw need to land more power shots. Because why? More than likely, when you're landing a jab, especially as a heavyweight, and I think this is so wrong, I don't see why you score the fight different for a heavyweight versus a welterweight or a middleweight. But when you're landing a jab as a heavyweight and your opponent is landing power shots, where they're saying in the CompuBox numbers he landed more power shots than he, so fucking what? They had it where they said that they basically scored that Effe had landed more shots, period. And I saw a lot of shots being parried, being caught on his arms and elbows, and look at his face at the end of the fight. Look at Shaw's face and look at Effe's face at the end of the fight. Neither one of them was all really, but Effe had a little, just say. But this is where, in the corner, you need to tell your fighter, don't leave it to the judges, man. You're winning or you're doing good. We don't know how they're scoring this fight. Let's pick it up a little bit. Keep doing what you're doing, working off that jab. But I want you to follow it up. When you land that jab, feint. Make a move. Let's see how I react. You need to get some power shots to the body, to the head. You need to make him, because the thing was, well, I will say, Shaw was doing better when he's going forward. It looks better, when he's going forward. Why? Because when he's going forward, Effe is trying to counter. Like he landed a jab, or landed 1-2. Effe is going back, and he's, his shots, he's not boom. He's doing this wild shit, and he's missing. But what would happen is Shaw would land his shots. Then he, back up a little bit, trying not to get caught in, I don't feel like he was doing something wrong. That's the point. I don't feel like he's doing something wrong in that sense. I feel like it was just other things he could have did. This is while the fight was happening, not after. Oh, he shouldn't know. Just certain things that I feel like, because I didn't know how they had that fight scored either. But I did feel like Shaw did enough to win. But at the same time, it wasn't a dominant performance by either guy. But he was relaxed. He was looking smooth in there. Why? Because he wasn't getting hit with shots. The shots that people thought were landing, if you look at when Effe was loading up, a lot of that shit, and I don't have to look at it in no damn slow motion, you could see, like, he was missing a lot of shots. He might throw 4 and land 1. Whereas, Shaw, he was doing it too at times. He would throw shots he was missing. But I've seen him landing shots even on the counter. Like, if Effe landed a left hook, just say, for example, right? Shaw would land 2 jabs. Or jab and a shot to the body. And for some reason, straight punches, like I said, when it comes to the jab to the, jab or a jab to the body, or, straight to the body, it's kind of like the judges know everything is, I need to see sweat flying. So it's more of a, I want to see somebody get hurt. I want to see somebody get brutalized and knocked out. So they obviously, like I said, they acknowledge power shots more than they do slick boxing off the jab. And I just don't think it's fair the way that they do that. You could have had the same fight, different judges, and a different outcome. So, yeah, I mean, even the fans thought Shaw won. And I've read a lot of comments, too, before I made this video, and I'm saying the same thing. Most people think Effe lost. Now, personally for Effe, when I look at him, Effe is another fighter that just doesn't seem to be getting any better. He just doesn't seem to be getting any better, man. Like, he's like the same fighter for like the past 3-4 years, man. He's been the same fighter. So, I don't know, man. We'll see. Even at the end of the fight, he said, we go back to the gym, start all over, and just... Because I don't think, they both were raising their hands at the end of the fight. But that's something that people do. But even his words, he said thought he controlled the fight. He said he thought he won. He did say that. But it's like, for me, looking at Effe going forward, Effe's in a position, to me, unless he just lands something hard and get a guy out of there, he can put up a fight. But there's guys like when Frank Sanchez beat him, Frank Sanchez dropped him also. See, Frank Sanchez was landing power shots. He was punishing. Well, actually, I was talking to someone online, and they was talking about another channel was saying that, that Stefan basically beat him worse than Frank Sanchez did. Nah, he didn't. Frank Sanchez clearly fucked Effe up, dropped him, hurt him, and pretty much was outlanding him at will. Now, yeah, Frank Sanchez, we've seen that he does in certain fights. He build up a big lead, and then in the last four, it's not so much that he fade like he's fatigued. He's just, I don't know if he gets bored or he just feel like instead of stepping it up to get the guy out of there, he kind of cruise, But at the end of the day, still, he's winning the fights. And no, so that definitely wasn't the case that, no, Big Shot did not win. He did not beat Effe more conventionally, than, my man did it. And at the end of the day, nah. I thought he did enough to win, though. And and let me tell you, I thought he was the better boxer in that ring. I thought he was more accurate in landing his shots. And that, like I said, basically it's just going to come down to what the judges like. So I don't really feel like Effe beat him, but the judges did. That's what matters. Don't matter what I think. It matters what the judges say. We've been talking about corrupt judging, or just the point of fights just being judged like based on, I like what he's doing more than what I like him doing. No, that's not how boxing is supposed to be scored. The fight is scored based on who's landing the most punches. That's what you're looking at. Who's landing the most shots? Because, look, just say, for example, right? Let's say if Paulie Malignaggi had Pernell or Floyd's type of defense, right? And he goes in there and say he fights a guy like Sean Porter who ran through him and steamrolled him, right? Let's just say if Paulie had that kind of defense where he could make Sean miss and then touch him, he doesn't have punching power. So let's just say if he's landing his shots, but you guys are saying, the judges are saying, well, Sean Porter was landing the harder shots. Of course, because he's a harder puncher than Paulie. Paulie has no power. So how fair would that be if Paulie is outlanding him, but Sean Porter's punches are the harder punches, and that's what you like? No. So basically, it's like I said, it's like, imagine in basketball, a guy scores 35 points, and he's doing all these stylish dunks and layups, windmill dunks and all that, are you going to give him extra points because he made tougher shots? Or basically, does the team win because they scored more points? So even if that star player got 35 and the other guy, star player on the other team has 22, what are you going to say? Well, technically, he outscored the other star player. So we're going to award him more points? No. It's a point system. Just like in football, it's a point system. You score, you get 6 points. You make the extra point, you got 7 points. You go for the 2-point conversion, you got 8 points. It's as simple as that. Why is boxing being scored? And I've always had a problem with that. Why is boxing being scored based on, this isn't bodybuilding, right? And I say that because what do? They judge it based on what they like. Okay, I like his build better. I like her build better. Okay, yeah, they got the 6-pack, they got this, but yeah, you see the shoulder. No, it's not what you like. It's who's winning the fucking fight. So even if a guy scores more power shots, if you score, okay, I feel like this. Let's say a guy lands 130 punches. Out of his 130 punches, 15 was power shots. Let's say the next guy lands 90 punches, or say he lands 100 punches. 75 of his shots was power shots. You're going to give it to him because he landed the harder punches? But he clearly was outscored? And then they connect that with, yeah, but he's more exciting than him. He's more of a draw than him. See, that's when the politics start to come in. That's the bullshit right there. So, anyway, tell me what y'all think in the comment section, about the fight with Shaw and Effe. And actually, man, I just think Effe is going to have problems. Like I don't know. It's like he's just not getting better as a fighter, man. And this guy Shaw, I hope it doesn't derail him mentally. Well, for his sake, But hopefully for him, his team let him know. Stay slick, stay sharp, but you got to learn. You got to put some power shots together. You got to put power shots together with your punching, because you're going to get robbed if you have a fight like this, a close fight. Judges they like these power shots more. And, for like I said, for them to call that a unanimous decision for Effe is like, nah. I've heard people say, oh, I gave him 2 rounds. I only gave him 3 rounds. So you think Shaw only won 2 or 3 rounds of that fight? What fight were y'all watching? And I think that's where the problem comes from. Because even if Effe would have got a split or a majority, if you thought Shaw won, it's like, nah, he won. But majority just like, it's like saying, all of the punches that you land and all the hard work that you did, we're not going to acknowledge that. Because he was landing more power shots. And basically, Effe was landing more to the body. And, he wasn't able to land 2 and 3. He only, get 1 shot in. But yeah, it was what it was. And this was just a fight where each guy was trying to not let the other guy get the advantage. Shaw, one thing that a fighter can't do, this is why when you hear me say, like, a lot of fighters, that even when they're good or decent, they still lack basic boxing fundamentals. Between the two of them, Shaw's the slick boxer. But one thing that, because I'm looking at Shaw and I'm saying, man, like, there's times where he would slip, pow, catch him with a shot, slip back. It's like, nah, jump on him. You landed that shot, go to the body. You know what I mean? Feint on him, come back to the head, pop, pop, pop. Get out of there, get back in, boom, boom, because that's his style. He fight, he get in, he get out. And he was walking Effe down, Effe was walking him down. What I'm saying is you put the exclamation mark at the end of that sentence, right? You put the period at the end of that sentence, right? No question marks. You want them to see what you're doing. Oh, okay, yeah. And that's what I thought that he should have been doing more of, is, being a little more busy when he catch him. Don't get complacent with, I made him miss and I caught him with 1 or 2 and then backed off. Put some hurt on him. So this is where, of course, like I said, whoever made that comment about he beat him worse than Frank Sanchez did, nah. I saw both fights. Anyway, talk to me in the comment section. And tell me, where do y'all think Effe goes from here? Do y'all feel like Effe is ready? And don't get me wrong, no, not even if he's ready. Because Effe by now should be fighting top guys. I mean, what is he waiting for? To turn 35, 36? Like, the guy should be fighting top guys. um, do you think he has a chance of beating? Let me phrase it that way. The Daniel Dubois, the Joe Joyces, the Joseph Parkers, the Andy Ruizes, guys like that. Because for Effe, I won't be shocked if his first, like, well, Frank Sanchez was a step up fight, but because Frank Sanchez doesn't have the popularity, people might not see it that way. But I won't be surprised if his what's considered his step up fight will be against somebody like Chris Arreola, Luis Ortiz, Charles Martin, somebody like that. I don't think they trust putting him in there right now, even with the Joseph Parker or even the Daniel. But I think like him and Daniel Dubois, a fight like that where we saw Daniel get buzzed and got hurt and went down 3 times in his last fight before he came back and won. So there may be some confidence in them that they can maybe beat a Daniel Dubois. Who knows? I don't know. But tell me, what do y'all think about Effe fighting against the other top guys to get to the elite guys? What y'all think his chances are? Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.